Hello, folks. Once again, welcome to James Hill Sports. I am joined by a special gentleman, my main man. He is Terry Sims. He is the head football coach at the Bethune-Cookman University. Coach, first and foremost, I hope you and everybody on campus are well. How's it going, sir?
Going great, going great. Finally had an opportunity to put it all together and get a win last weekend, and feels good to be able to put it all together and see these guys enjoy some success after all the hard work.
Take us back to Saturday, a quality opponent. Every week is a quality opponent, but take us back to Saturday and what the Wildcats were able to do. You moved the ball around. Mr. Jones played his game. Bird was very active. Guys scored, and guys really got after it. But take us into Saturday.
Well, it was a little bit of a different weekend. We had to actually fly into Memphis and stay in Memphis because it was all three schools in Mississippi. It was their homecoming. So it was a rough weekend. We had to drive the 2.5 hours from Memphis to Edabina and get ready to play a game. But I think the guys handled it well. They handled themselves well. We got off to a little bit of a rocky start. Didn't, execute in any of the phases like we planned on. But we stuck with it. The guys fought through all the adversity that we had going on, and we ended up moving the ball, executing our offense. We ended up making some solid plays on special teams, and we played, I think, one of our best games defensively up front that we played in a while. Still had some spots in the secondary that we had to clean up, but up front, I think we played a decent game.
Coach, share your thoughts on the defensive side of the football and being able to seal the deal, if you will, down the stretch and make plays in a football game, and that's always special.
Yeah, it's always special to be able to make plays, and you mentioned Jalen Jones and Bird, all those guys, Kamari, Marcus Riley. Those guys are big play guys, and they made a lot of plays on Saturday, the plays that they were supposed to make. And I think that's the difference. We actually made the plays that we were supposed to make on Saturday, and it made a difference.
Coach Sims, talk a little bit about the Swac. It's extremely competitive, whether it be the west side, if you will, or the east. Both sides are stacked, and there's a lot of talent and a lot of parity.
Yeah, a lot of parity in this conference, a lot of good football players, a lot of good football coaches. And you have to, be on your game every week because it's not that anyone's going to run over any team, but, one play, it's a big play league. You can have a big play at any time that could, turn the tide in either direction. And we've been on both ends of that stick. So we understand that. Still excited to be in this league, excited to be able to match up with these guys week in and week out because it's competitive and it's something that you look forward to as a coach, and definitely I know the players do because you want to have competition week in and week out. You don't want to go out and just run over people. You want to be competitive. You want to have to think and work your way through plays and through situations. That's what you live for when you're doing this, when you're playing this game. Football is a competitive sport. And you have to be the ultimate competitor to play this game, not just to be successful, but to even step on the field and play.
Coach, the spotlight on HBCU intercollegiate athletics, and in this case, in particular, HBCU football, it's been here since the 1800s, but these days, everybody is looking, everybody is coming back home, so to speak, and people are clamoring. Talk a little bit about what you see when you look at HBCU football.
Well, you see the pride coming back in HBCU football, the way it used to be. Like you were talking about in the 60s, 70s, 80s, early 90s. HBCU football was what it should have been. People put a lot of emphasis on it, but it kind of lost its flair. Here and there, you had some programs that stayed on top and stayed in the limelight, but now you see a spotlight on all HBCU programs, whether it's Division I or Division II. folks are getting back into it. They're supporting the schools. They're supporting these student athletes in all the sports, and that's the way it should be. Because these kids are important. They go out and work every day to be able to put their skills to work on platforms such as HBCU Go, your show. There are a lot of ESPN has us on all of their networks now, so it's really really exciting, and it's really I think pleasing and heartwarming to a guy like myself who's been around HBCU football for a long time to actually see the emphasis that's being put on HBCU football right now.
Coach, to see the SWAC and the MEAC compete against other conferences, if you will, PWIs, and a little bit of everybody, talk about what that looks like. And again, the opportunity to go out and showcase, if you will. We just watched Prairie View with Lamar, and we just watched several teams play against Power Fives and PWIs, and it's always interesting to see that.
It is, and we talk about it as coaches a lot. That we just have to go out and show people that we know how to play football too. We know how to coach. Our players know how to play, and we have to put our product on the stage. You just have to make sure you're putting the product on the right stage, and it's able to be able. You'll be able to help your players and your program, your department, and your university when you do that.
Coach, oftentimes fans who don't really understand or they only see it at a certain level, um, they see players and student athletes at Power Fives. But again, when you look at HBCUs, there are quality student athletes who can play on Sundays. And we've seen it before, whether we look back to Doug or we look to Indianapolis, or yeah, you had a gentleman who played for the New York Giants recently that I covered there at Bethune. So talk about some of the student athletes. And again, it's all about opportunities for guys to play on Sundays.
Yeah, and we tell guys that when they come to school here, if you have the talent, they'll find you. You just have to go out and perform. It's on you once you get the opportunity to get on the field. It's on you to showcase your talent then and showcase your skills. We have a lot of talent in this league, a lot of talent in the MEAC. There's a lot of talent in the CIAA and the SIAC also, where guys can go from those conferences and go into the NFL, go to the next level and play. And guys do it every day. When you look at teams year in and year out, may not be a lot of first, second, third round draft picks, but even if a guy goes as a free agent, you see most of the guys that come from HBCU programs, they end up sticking because they understand work, they understand having a work ethic and fighting through tough times. I look at a lot of HBCU guys that are still around the league, and you look at them and I like to talk to them and ask them about their journey, and a lot of them they attribute a lot of their success in the NFL and the CFL and any other level of professional football to their time at whatever HBCU they attended, because it teaches guys to fight through adversity. Not that other programs don't, but I just think at HBCUs you have a little bit different flavor, a little bit different feel, and it's a little bit different love at these places. And the guys understand that, and it teaches them, that a work ethic is important, and also understanding how to treat people and understanding how to go about your everyday life.
Coach, the 2022 season so far for the Wildcats. Take us through the season, what you see so far. You've played some quality opponents. You've had some times to fight through adversity, if you will, whether it be a national disaster and Hurricane Ian, and going out on the road and playing some football, and then just blessing your fans with victories. But talk about the season so far.
It's been a little bit of a rough season. We dropped our first two, and we were able to come back and get a win against Grambling, and then Ian stepped up on us, and we had to go on the road for 3 weeks, and it was something that a lot of these young people were not used to. They were outside of their comfort zone, and we had to do everything we could do to give them some sense of normalcy every day. That was rough, just having a lot of Florida kids here, a lot of families that lost a lot, and still having these guys focus and still try and go about their everyday work in this football program. So that was those 3 weeks. We ended up coming back and having an opportunity to be at home for a quick practice week, and we had to go back on the road to Mississippi Valley and ended up getting a win Saturday there. And we're kind of getting our legs back under us and having an opportunity to practice in our own facilities and meet in our own facility. So normalcy is important, especially for football players, because they are creatures of habit, and it's important for them to have that comfort when they're preparing and when they're going through the process of getting ready for their next opponent. And our next opponent is Prairie View, and we had a good practice today and looking forward to another one tomorrow.
Coach, when you look over at Bubba McDowell and Prairie View and what those Panthers are doing, what are you seeing when you look at them on tape? And again, they were successful against Lamar, and they continue to build his program from the ground up, even though Dooley has moved on. But what are you seeing when you look at Prairie View?
You see a well-coached football team, and I work with Bubba McDowell. We worked together at Texas Southern years ago. Very good football coach, even better man. I don't think you see anything but him when you watch his football team. They're aggressive. They fly around, but they also play the game with discipline, and that's the kind of man he is. We have our work cut out for us. They're solid on offense. They understand what they want to do offensively, and they fly around to the ball on defense, and they're solid on special teams. So we understand that we have to make sure all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed when we step on the field on Saturday.
Coach, HBCU football teams, in some cases, get an opportunity to play on the big stage, if you will, whether it be at an NFL venue. You've done so this year at Tennessee, up in Jacksonville recently versus Jackson, and then also earlier in the season down in Miami. And again, guys get an opportunity to play on those big stages. Talk about the blessing that can be for a young man to play on that stage, knowing that he might have aspirations to play on a Sunday.
I think it's huge anytime you have an opportunity, as a college football player to play in an NFL stadium and, get that feel and what it's like to be in a stadium like that, to be, around the facilities and have a platform such as an NFL stadium to showcase your skills. I think it's great, and I think every young man that has an opportunity should take advantage of it. And I know our guys, they're told that often, that they have to take advantage of the opportunities that are put in front of them.
Coach, oftentimes student athletes are really working hard, and then there's quality coaches like yourself. When you see Coach Prime and some of the things he's been able to do and to bring that spotlight back, so to speak, what goes through your mind, and what was that game like in Jacksonville?
It was great. I mean, just having a venue such as the Jaguar Stadium that was close enough for all our fans to get there, and Jackson brought their fans, and whatever limelight that Brian brought with it. I think you have to use all that for what it's worth, and use it for these young people. And that's all he and I talked about, before the game and after the game, just making sure that we're putting these young people in a light where they can see themselves be successful and other people can see the skills that they have.
Coach Sims, I had the opportunity to go up to Orangeburg last weekend and check in with Buddy Pugh, the dean, and check out the Bulldogs as they played Central. Very good game. But talk a little bit about what he means to HBCU football as the longest tenured coach and a gentleman you've had some great relationship and great battles with over the years.
One of my mentors, and he's been one of my mentors for a long time. Can't say enough great things about Buddy. One thing you have to be ready for, if you're going to talk to Buddy Pugh, you better be ready for the truth. He's going to tell you how he feels about it and how he feels like it should be done, and that's just it. But he is the dean. He's a great football coach, great person. Will give you the shirt off his back. He's always sharing advice. As long as I have been a head coach, I still call him and talk to him about things. And he'll share whatever he has with you. So I think it's great. I think it's great that they're continuing to win, and that South Carolina State stuck with him, and they're letting him do things on his terms and his way, and he's continuing to move that program forward.
Coach, 4 weeks left in the season. Let's go Wildcats football. Talk about what you envision and what you see. You'll get an opportunity to see Prairie View this week, and obviously the Classic, as we always look forward to, but that's 4 weeks down the line. But just talk a little bit about this last month of Wildcats football, if you will.
I mean, I think it's going to be an exciting month of football. We're going to take it, not even one game at a time right now. We're taking one day at a time. We're talking to our guys about winning the day, and we won today, and we're looking to win tomorrow. But we have some competitive teams that we're going to play these last 4 weeks, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the matchups and looking forward to the atmosphere at each game.
Coach, in closing, what message do you want to pass along to the Wildcats nation as they continue to support and represent? And I'm sure they will be in Orlando and anywhere you guys are.
Same message I always have. Continue to support us, continue to stick with us. These young men are working hard. They're proud Wildcat football players, and they're always striving to make our fans proud and to put a product on the field that our fans can be proud of.
Well, folks, there you have it from Terry Sims. He is the head football coach of the Bethune-Cookman University Let's Go Wildcats. I'm James Hill. You're watching James Hill Sports, and we'll be right back.